Hey there, before we go into the details of this problem, I have a small request. A lot of the people, around 96% of the people that watch my channel have not subscribed to my channel yet. But I think this is a very small gesture that you can send to me and motivate me to create more videos. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, like the videos if you think they are worth it, and leave me a comment. Now, let's talk about this problem, which is number 20, and I'm going to run you through, and I'm just going to tell you how I think about this problem and how I really solve it. In the age of AI, it's not really, oh, I know the answer to this code, really. It's about how do you break the problem into pieces and how do you tackle it. So let's get into this. For those who have visited my channel many times, they know that I have a Jupyter notebook on the right-hand side. I'm showing it in black so that you identify it from the Leetcode, which is in white. I will be reading the problem from the Leetcode, and I'm going to be coding in Jupyter Notebook to help you understand how I tackle this one. This problem is called valid parentheses. So the job we have been assigned to do right now is to find out whether some parentheses that has been opened has been closed properly. This is very important in programming. You really don't have to worry about it right now as ChatGPT and other large language models write it. But then this is about solving this problem. This is not about actually what the code does. Given a string S containing just the characters of normal parentheses, curly brackets, and just square brackets, determine if this string is valid. For example, I'll show you the example. It says, if you've got this one, it is a valid input because one open and one close, then happy days. This one is one open, one close, one open, one close, and one open, one close as well. So that's again happy days. But if you look at this one, this is a normal parentheses open and a square bracket close. It's not really what we're after. We would call this, hey, this is false because we don't like it. Now, the way I want to think about this is here. So let me just write an S and think of an example. I'll open a curly bracket and I will close a curly bracket, and I will also close with a square bracket because I want the answer to be a false answer. Let me see if I need to zoom in a bit more. Okay, maybe this is better for your viewing. The way a human solves this problem, the way we look at it, we say, okay, this is a curly bracket that has been opened. Let me find another curly bracket that has closed it. Because I know when we open it this way, we will be closing it that way. So that's my mental map that looks at it. But then I'm like, okay, if this one has been opened here, then it has been closed here. That's fine. Then I can easily forget about that. So keep that in mind, forgetting about it or removing it or saying, yep, that was fine. But then what it remains here is a square bracket that has been closed, but there is no opening for it. So this is how the human brain searches for information. So imagine if I had this one, then I had this one, and I had this one, and I had this one. This is pretty much what I would do. I would find this one, and then I would find the first one that closes it, and I would cancel them out. I would delete them or take them out of the list, which is very powerful, that thinking. All right, let me just make it back to simple again. I just want to keep it very simple and we take it from there. What I will do, again, the way human brain works, takes them and looks at them one by one. So you see where I'm going, but also remember that I need a container that when I delete two of them, I put them in the container because then I can remember that, yep, those ones are sorted out of my way. Let me look at the next one. So I will call that container a stack. It's a list. It's an empty list. There is nothing in it. I'm just considering it an empty bowl for me to drop things as I process this. All right. The next thing I need is like a map. So I will call it a bracket map. If you like, you can call it whatever you want. And I'm going to make it a dictionary. This is very important. This is more like an address, like an address book that says, if you see this, this is the closing. If you see this, this is the closing. That's literally what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, when you see this, this is the closing, comma. If you see this, this is the closing. And then comma, if you see this, you are expected to see this. So this is like a guidebook that I'm going to be using for, did you find this? Find that. Did you find this? Find that. Let me run that as well. It's a dictionary, and in dictionaries, there is a lot of different things that you can do, but let me remind you very quickly what a dictionary does. A dictionary has got a key and a value, and has got many pairs of that. Key, value, key, value. And it's very, very important because when I look at bracket map, right, and I look at the keys, you will see that the keys are all the opening ones. So for example, opening square bracket, opening curly bracket, and opening normal bracket are the keys. And that's very important. The next thing I want to tell you about is you can search if a key is inside a dictionary. I know that I'm going a bit off the beaten track, but just let me get to it and you will understand why we're doing it. So if I'm doing a search, I want to, for example, say, hey, is that what I put there in bracket map? It says, yep, it is there. I can see it in the keys. So on the left-hand side. For example, if I change this to the other one, to the closing one, it will say false. It's not there. Well, it is there, but it's because it is on the value side or on the right-hand side, it will not see it. All you can search for is this one, and this one. Last example, if I go open curly brackets, you will see that it says true. It is in this dictionary. So keep that in mind. This is going to be very helpful very soon. Now, what does the human brain do? The human brain looks at them one by one. I'm going to write a for loop for character in S, because I know that I'm looking at a string. I can say, write a for loop that prints every character. It says, okay, the first one is an open curly brackets, the next one is a closed curly brackets, and the last one is a closed square brackets. All right, I'm not going to really print it, but this is what I wanted to check. I'm going to say here my if statement, right? I want to find any opening ones. And I know that the opening ones are the keys for this dictionary. Okay, so let me write an if statement. I will say if the character in this for loop, right, is in bracket map, you see what I'm doing? I'm just saying, hey, if this first one, for example, is in here, then I want you to take your stack, which was the empty container, and put that character in the empty container. Right. Let me run this. And tell me, what do you think, what do you expect will be in this stack after I run this for loop? I'll show you. I think what will I see in the stack is just the first open curly brackets. Because my condition said if this character is in bracket map, and only one of them is in the keys of this dictionary. Because this one is an opening, it is here, and it will be true. So it will stack it, it will append it to the stack. But this closing curly bracket or closing square bracket, when it checks whether it is in here or not, it will say, no, it's not. Because it's on the value side. It's not on the key side. That's the problem. But now you see that, okay, I was able to put that one into the stack. But what do I really need to do now? I need to find a closing for an opening. That's what I will do. Okay, now that we have dealt with the first one, which is inside this S, I want to know how do I deal with a closing one when I know that there will be a closing one or not. Look, let me show you how I would identify a closing one. So I would go to a bracket map, right? That's my dictionary. And if I want to find a closing for this, how do I do it? Well, I will use that as a key and I will find a closing one. Because this is a dictionary, when you feed the opening, you will get the closing. That is very, very powerful because now I understand that, all right, inside this for loop of mine that I just wrote in S prints the character. You remember that? Because I did write an if statement for this one. Now I want to write an if statement for the second one using this address finding kind of syntax. All right. Okay, now that I understand the drill, all I need to do is to write an if statement for the closing ones. So with the addressing that I showed you, right, with a bracket map, looking at the stack, because I want to go back to my empty bowl, find out what I put there the very last time, which is coming from this -1. What I put in the very last time, right, if you find it, and if it equals the character that you're looking at, then I want you to get rid of it because I want to find pairs and move them outside. Get pairs, move them outside. That's what I want to do. But there is one thing I need to do. I don't want the stack to be empty. That's what this means. So when you say elif stack means if stack is not empty. So condition number one, stack should not be empty. Condition number two, you have taken a closing bracket and you have identified it. If all of them are correct, all you need to do now is to pop the last one from the stack because you had an opening. Now you have found the closing and you move both of them out of here. So when you do that, that means that you are finding pairs and putting them together and getting rid of them because you want to find out if there is any remaining. Now, these two should easily figure out whether something has an opening and a closing, but just remember that if any of them are not correct, all I have to do is to return false. Okay, I think I have figured this out. Hopefully you have figured it out as well. But all I have to do now is to copy stack into my function, copy the bracket map into this function as well, because that's very important. Let me just indent these. You have to be indented. Yep, that's better. And then once I have that, I will go ahead and copy this. There is one more thing that I need to add, and I will do it very soon. I will put this here, and let me just extend this window so that you can clearly see it. The only thing that is missing from here is if not stack, means that if stack is empty, this will be true, but not true will be false, which is very cool. Now I'm just going to submit, I'm just going to first run this code and see what the test result is. Fingers crossed, all cases are successful, as you can see. And now if I submit it, fingers crossed, I will get a pass. Let's see what it says. Oh yeah, that is very cool. We solved this problem. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Put it in the comments area. You haven't already subscribed? You should, because I'm creating a lot of things and I'm spending a lot of time for this. So let's do it together.